person where I really like there to be like a resolution. I like knowing why things happened, and this story has like no resolution because nobody knows what happened. And every time that people have tried to interview this family, they just like change the subject, and they're just like, I don't know. They just like don't talk about it, and it's really weird. And I don't know, just keep your conspiracies in your back pocket because it's weird. It's very, very strange. Okay. So this is about a family called the Tromp. You know, the Tromps. Tromp, not Trumps. Tromp. So the family consisted of 5 people. So it was Mark Tromp, the dad, he was 51. Jacoba Tromp, which was mom, she was 53. And then 3 adult children, Rihanna, who was 29, Mitchell, who was 25, and Ella, who was 22. So the 5 of them. They all owned like a family business at their house. It was basically a big farm. I don't know if you know what red currants are, but like you'll see like black currant stuff like wine, and we don't actually have, like, I think in the United States black currants are like they don't have them here because there's some kind of pest. I don't know, it's really weird, but we don't have black currants here. They're in like the UK. So this was a red currant farm, and they like moved earth and dirt and stuff. So this was all from their property in Sylvan, which is just outside of Melbourne. Okay, I say Melbourne, but I've heard people say it's supposed to be like Melbourne. I don't know, I'm gonna get eaten up for this, but so the 3 adult children worked for the parents, and they all lived here on the farm, worked there. Yeah. So pretty much by all accounts, the whole family was really well liked. They were all like normal. They weren't like weird. Everybody just kind of liked them, purchased from them, supported their business. They weren't like a problematic family. In 2024 words, they weren't canceled for any reason. It was a warm August day. Picture this. It's a Monday. You know Mondays. It's a Monday, August 29th in 2016. The entire family got into the daughter Ella's car and drove heading down, I think Highway 33, and they just never came back. And the neighbors were trying to contact them and couldn't get through to anybody. And everybody was just like, so the neighbors were really concerned because when they had all gotten in this car and drove away, they didn't tell anyone what was going on, and the neighbors knew that they like were tending to the farm daily, and when they didn't come back, the neighbors is like, you know, smaller town, neighbors are nosy, but they're like, what's going on? The neighbors contact the police and tell them what happened. Hey, this family went missing. We don't really know why, what's going on, whatever. So the police arrive at the house, and they found all of the other family vehicles in the house, like inside the house. They found all of the family's personal vehicles. They were all in the driveway, and they all had like the keys in the ignition, or at least a couple of them did. It was like the home was in like suspended animation. So they found the cars in the driveway with the keys in the ignition. The front door was unlocked, and when they entered into the home, they found all of their passports, cell phones, credit cards, just in the house. And the house was kind of like in disarray, almost as if someone had come through and like rifled through days or whatever without their phones, passports, whatever. So everybody was extremely concerned, and like their financial records were like all over the place. Some were like scattered and like thrown, some were like in neat little piles, and it was like none of it was making sense. If it was a robbery, they would have stolen things, presumably. It just didn't make any sense. So, according to the family, this is what the family said. On the morning of August 29th, Mark, the dad, had informed the whole family that they were in danger and they needed to leave, like right now. So they were told they needed to leave their phones behind so they couldn't be tracked. They're like, drop it all, everything. They got a bunch of paperwork that they needed and they just ran. And they said that Mark told them that somebody was out to get their money and that they'd be in like a lot of danger if they stayed. So they just fled and they drove all day. It was noted that they drove about 800 kilometers, which is around 497 miles. And if they were going straight shot the entire way, that's literally like almost 6 hours just driving all the way to Bathurst in New South Wales. So they just took off. So during the trip, that portion of the trip, they discovered that Mitchell, one of the sons, he secretly snuck his phone onto the trip, and that caused the dad to like freak out, and he grabbed the phone and threw it out the window of the car and just kept going. And then it's allegedly he started ranting to the children that they were being tracked and followed, and like that he had put the entire family in danger basically by bringing his cell phone, but nobody knew what was going on really. So Mitchell kind of decided, like, between this weird fleeing from their house and the dad's like weird hissy fit over the phone and throwing it out the window, Mitchell basically said he's gonna leave the group. He decided that he was gonna go back home. So he said, let me out, get me out of here. And so he separates from the family and says he's gonna go home. The rest of the family, so this is Mark, the dad, Jacoba, the mother, and then Rihanna and Ella, the other two daughters. The son has separated from the group. They continue their trip and they're heading east toward Jenolan Caves in the Blue Mountains area. At this point, the two daughters, Rihanna and Ella, decided they also wanted to separate from their parents and go home. So they separate from mom and dad. They steal a car and then they drive to the town Goulburn, where they went to the police and reported that their parents were missing. Unclear if they reported that they stole a car to get to the police station. So, the next thing that was really, really strange is that the sisters decided to also separate. So, just to recap, the son has separated from the parents and he's trying to find his way home. The two daughters separate from the parents and they steal a car. They go to a local police station to report what had happened and their parents missing. And then the sisters separate at a gas station. Ella continues home in the stolen car and is the first one to arrive home out of all of them. And people have stated that when they saw her, she seemed really like lucid and normal, but just like weirded out by the whole situation. But Ella specifically seemed fine. So Mitchell arrives home the next day after taking like he took a bunch of buses home. He gets all the way back to the Tromp residence, and it's also reported that he's like really calm and normal, and everyone's just like starting to be like, what's going on? So the next one to show up was Rihanna. A random guy found her stowed away in the bed of his truck. So not like the trunk, but like, an open truck bed. She was like hiding in the back of his truck. But unlike Mitchell and Ella, Rihanna was like catatonic. It's actually reported verbatim. She was in a catatonic state, and she was like completely disoriented, and like she was losing her mind. She doesn't know who she is, doesn't know where she is, doesn't know how she got there. And so she was taken to a psych ward in Goulburn, in a hospital in Goulburn, where the two girls had gone to the police station. When they took Rihanna to the hospital, they interviewed her, but she wasn't able to provide really any information on like where her parents were or why she was acting like this. She was just kind of like babbling. So due to the fact that none of the children were able to provide information on like the location of Mark and Jacoba, their parents, the police decided that they were going to launch a manhunt for them to find them, because at this point everyone's kind of going crazy and the parents are missing. So they were just trying to find them and make sure that they weren't a danger to themselves or others. The searches for Mark and Jacoba didn't really turn up anything until they got a lead from a couple, like a young couple in a town called Wangaratta. So the couple said that first they said they spotted a man matching Mark's description in a car that matched Ella's car on the highway. So 1 + 1 = 2. They stated that Mark drove like really, really close to them and like kept getting like on their rear end, and he followed them like really close for like a while, like a bit. And so they decided, okay, first of all, this logic, it's not working for me. They decided to pull over. If I had some random guy that was presumed to be missing and potentially dangerous, like if he's going mad, following me for miles, you bet my ass I would not pull over on the highway. I'm driving straight through to a police station. Why did they pull over? Like, anyway. So they pull their car over, and they said that the man got out of his vehicle, took off running towards their car. He stopped, squatted down in the middle of the road, and just stared at them. And then he got up and ran into like the darkness, because it was nighttime. It was later evening. Just ran off into the park called Marawa Park. There he goes. Where is he going? I don't know. And so the police, like, because it was just like an account, a witness account, but like there's no surveillance or whatever, the police weren't able to confirm that that was was Mark in Ella's car that got out and weird and ran off. But like, again, 1 + 1 = 2, based on the really strange behavior of him like getting out and running. They just were like, yeah, that kind of sounds like him, because they're all acting crazy right now. Not super long after the couple saw the guy that they thought was Mark, Ella's car had been abandoned or something in Wangaratta, and there were a bunch of reports coming in from people saying that a man that matched Mark's description was like wandering around the town like in a daze, and he was just walking around dazed and confused, but they couldn't find him. So when the report came in, yeah, we saw a man, he seemed weird, and then when they went to the area, he was gone. And then they also, so the next day, they found Jacoba in the town of Yass, outside of Canberra, wandering around disoriented as well. So she was also like, so she got taken to the hospital and assessed, and they found her that, of course, her mental health was not in a good state. She was not doing well. Let me just remind you, this family took off on August 29th, 2016. They didn't find Mark until September 3rd. So they found him running along a street on the outskirts of Wangaratta still. I guess when they were like taking him in, like when they subdued him, he like flipped a bunch of people off. After all the reports were taken and everything, there really were no charges filed except against Ella, who stole the car and then drove it home. But eventually, like, after all this came out and like it was clear that the family was unwell, the charges were just dropped and the car was returned. None of the family has elaborated on any of the experiences that they went through. They refused to elaborate when interviewed, and Mark and Jacoba, the parents, never told the police like what prompted them to just like suddenly flee their home, all their belongings, and take their children, or if like the claims about people trying to steal their money was true. And nothing was confirmed. No information ever came out about somebody like threatening them, trying to ransom, whatever. Before I say what some of the theories are, I'll let you see if you can guess, if you have any idea of what theory anything you think it might have been. Because there's only, at this point, there are only theories, and nobody actually knows. Nobody actually knows what the hell's going on. So there are some theories that maybe they were like poisoned, or like there was something that like was leaking from like the chemicals in their farm, leaking into the drinking water, leaking into the soil, like where they, and into their food. But nobody like that they like sold food to, or Red Currants, or anybody else in the surrounding area was having any issues, and a lot of them shared the same drinking source. So like that was never confirmed. And then there was speculation of a condition called folie en famille, which is basically like family madness, where Mark and Jacoba kind of like went crazy, and it induced the children to like follow in their footsteps. And then once they were separated, they were acting normal. Really not much is known about the family because they've requested Australia. They're in Australia, so the press, I guess, is a little better about respecting their privacy. But like I said, they've been interviewed and stuff, and they're just like, I don't know. But yeah, that's the weird ass case of the Tromp family. This one always like particularly weirds me out because I just want to know what the heck happened. Freaking demons were whispering in his ear or something, cause like, hello. Freaking weird. But yeah, so weird. It was so